Anglers know that the small details in fishing are very important and they can actually make or break your fishing day, pun intended. When it comes to fishing knots, if you hook a big fish, if you tie a bad knot, under pressure, it'll probably cut the line. There are different types of knots, and depending what lure I'm using or whether I'm using any terminal tackle, that actually determines the knot that I use. For example, if I'm using a lure that has a split ring, I use a tight knot. Because I know that even though my knot is tight to the split ring still allows the lure to move freely back and forth. Two of my favorite tight knots to use are the Palmar and the improved clinch knot. Now, one thing that I make sure before I tie any kind of knot is that the tip of my line where I'm going to tie my knot is not frayed. If it is frayed, I'll cut that section off and I'll use line that's in good condition. I know that knots are my only connection to the lure, terminal tackle, or hook that I'm using. Always make sure that you tie your knot properly and that you tighten it properly. If I'm tying a knot with monofilament line, which can be pretty slippery, I make sure that I lubricate it before I tighten it really strong. If I'm using a braided line, I use extra pressure when I'm tightening it because braid is so slippery that it could come undone. After I tighten the knot, I make sure I leave about an 1/8 inch of a tag because I know that if I get caught on bottom or if I'm fighting a big fish, there's a chance that there might be some line slippage. So always leaving about a 1/8 inch tag is very important. Also, when you're fishing, every once in a while, check the line above your hook to make sure it's not frayed. Remember that your fishing line is only as strong as the weakest link.